Hi there, and welcome to High Value Writing in Action, where we workshop real sentences from real writers like you. Today we're looking at a sentence submitted by my neighbor, who is an attorney, and part of her work is to reunify kids with their parents. So she came to me yesterday and said, hey, I have a sentence where I'm trying to convince others that the relationship between my client Jade and her mom is strong, but I feel like my sentence doesn't pop, doesn't really come to life. So let's talk about the discussion I had with my neighbor and how we workshopped this sentence. So the first thing I asked her, the first thing we're always going to ask in any writing situation, who's going to be reading this? For her, it's the judge and it's the other attorneys. Secondly, what's your goal? And for her, it was to persuade them that Jade should be reunified with her mom. Okay, why do we ask those questions? Well, because no writing situation is the same. There's no one right way to write. We always adapt our writing based on who's going to read it and based on what we're trying to accomplish. So let's get to the sentence. The relationship between Jade and her mom is strong. There's nothing wrong with the sentence, but my neighbor said she just wanted it to pop more and feel more passionate and alive. She also felt like it just didn't bring the child to life enough, and the child is the center of the whole trial. So we did a couple things, and it was real easy to get this sentence a little more popping as she wanted. So first thing I would look at is, who do you feel is the most important person or group in the sentence? Well, my neighbor and I agreed. It's Jade herself. That's what we're doing this for, right? But the way the sentence is structured, it almost seems like the relationship is the main actor or the main subject or the main doer. We want to really reserve that important spot in the sentence for someone who deserves the attention. And in this case, that's Jade. So let's make that first change. Moving Jade up to the front spot. She's now the subject or the doer of this sentence, which means she's really getting highlighted and getting the attention of the reader. Second thing we looked at, I said, well, what verb are we using right now? Because a lot of us have a default where we kind of use weak verbs by accident. And that was the case with this sentence. Is, not a super strong verb. Let me put it to you this way. Can you imagine someone ising? Not really, right? But you can imagine someone swimming, shouting, directing, working, etc. Is just doesn't do a lot for us in general. And so I said, well, what is it that Jade enjoys with her mom? And we talked about some of the aspects of their relationship. And one of those was Jade relies on her mom. And we could continue that, right? We could say Jade relies on her mom for companionship, friendship, rides to school, help with homework, whatever it might be. But by using this verb instead of is, we're already telling a story about why being with her mom is so important for Jade. Second verb we tried, Jade trusts her mom. And many kids, of course, who've been through difficult times have trouble trusting others. And so this really brought to light that relationship as well. And then lastly, we tried Jade enjoys games with her mom, whatever you wanted to talk about. Okay, so with just two changes, first of all, who are we going to highlight in the sentence? Who's our main doer? And secondly, what verbs are we going to use to paint that picture of companionship? We were able to really upgrade the sentence and make it more passionate and hopefully convince that reader more. So send me your sentences. What are you working on? Let me know a sentence you're struggling with, who's going to read it, and what your goal is, and hopefully we'll workshop your sentence next.